Your questions about business, career, personal development, and achieving the American dream are more than welcome. Call 855 Makin It, 855-625-4648. Now, back to more Makin It with Tommy and Todd.
The Vertex Foods Speed Loss Break. What successful people eat for breakfast. Winston Churchill ate a hearty breakfast of eggs, meat, toast, grapefruit, and whiskey soda. Now, he had it delivered on 2 separate trays, and after eating, he would wash his hands and smoke his morning cigar.
You know, I love Winston Churchill in history, but I also didn't know until this moment what he ate for breakfast, and now I love his breakfast choices.
Exactly.
I think it's great.
Well, you know, I thought with a breakfast like that, clearly, I think he must have died early. No, he lived till 90.
Yeah, he did.
He was a very strong guy.
Yeah.
So,
and had a lot of stress, too.
Yes, exactly.
Managing a war is a lot of stress.
That's the Vertex Foods Speed Loss Break by Speed Loss. To lose 12 pounds in 2 days, try the Speed Loss 2-Day Food and Juice Cleanse. Go to jumpstartspeedloss.com for more information.
All right, sounds great. Well, it's time for Two with Tommy. And today I want to talk to you about what makes you unique. In our businesses, we always talk about a unique selling proposition, what sets us apart from others who offer the same or similar products or services as we do. With many of us, there are many things that we do okay and a smaller number of things that we do really well. But perhaps one thing that we do exceptionally well, what we can call our gifting. Some people really have to discover their gifting. So let me define it for you. Your gifting is what you do really well that actually seems to come rather easy for you. Let me give you an example from one of my favorite sports, football. If on the first day of training camp, the coach lines up every player and has them throw a football as far as they can, and one player can throw the ball 70 yards and the nearest best passer can throw it 40 yards. Guess what that player's gifting is who can throw it 70 yards? It's obviously being a quarterback. So he's going to be the next quarterback on the team merely by the fact that he has more physical skills and he can throw the football 70 yards. But it's not enough to have a special gift. We have to build critical skills around that special gift. In business, the following are support skills that every businessman who wants to excel should have. Number 1, the ability to speak and present well. People judge what's in our head by what comes out of our mouth. Speaking and the ability to communicate is very important. Number 2, the ability to formulate a vision and develop and execute a viable plan for that vision. Number 3, your ability to tell a story. Your business is a story in progress. There's a theme to your business, a backstory, characters, ideas, and concepts. If you're the CEO, you have to also be the chief storyteller. Number 4, the ability to sell. In the successful business, everybody sells, from the CEO on down. The CEO sells his employees, his investors, his bankers, and his customers on the value and worth of that company. Why it's a great place to work, why it's a great place to invest, or why it's a great place to buy products from. It's all selling, and everybody from the CEO to the janitor should be selling and be sold all the time. Number 5, finally, the ability to be of service. Whether you're in a service business or a product business, your power is in your ability to serve. The law of reciprocity is always in play. Learn to help and serve others, and they can't help but to pay you back. So give, and it will be given unto you. So those are 5 easy steps to build upon your gifting. Master those, and I'll see you at the top. For more great content, insights, inspiration, and products, go to TommyRunfulla.com. So what's up next, Brittany?
All right, next up, we are doing our deep dive segment, and you are going to be telling a personal story about an experience you had at one of your favorite restaurants.
Yes.
It doesn't sound like it's so favorite right now.
I almost don't want to tell the story, but I must, because there's such a lesson in the story.
It's so
do it for the educational factor, Tommy.
Yes.
Do it for society.
I will.
We're deep diving. Someone has to, I'm thinking about the customer right now in this experience.
This is
our audience.
This is something that the customer needs to know about, and something that the restaurant needs to know about.
Which is, we're deep diving into the importance of delivering a great customer experience.
Exactly.
Right. And let's do a really quick recap. A goal of our deep dive segment is to go into a business and entrepreneur situation, an economic event, and pull lessons, insights, and tips out of it that we can help our audience use to make their businesses, their careers, and their lives better.
And there's some lessons here.
Yes.
My wife and I were taking a special friend out for her birthday. And we went to a restaurant called the Capitol Grille.
Okay.
And there are many Capitol Grilles around the country. I won't say specifically which one this was. But they're a really nice high-end restaurant.
Yeah.
You're not going to go in there with 2 or 3 people and spend less than, maybe $300. Mm-hmm. So you expect the best from this restaurant. And when my wife made the reservations, she requested a certain specific booth that she wanted to be seated in. She was so specific about it, she called back to make sure they had it right. So we got to the restaurant and told the young lady at the front, we want that particular booth. And she said, no problem. And
was there anything specific about the guest you were taking?
Yeah, it was her 70th birthday.
Okay, yeah, that's an important point.
I'll tell that since I haven't said her name.
Right.
Yeah, it was her 70th birthday. She's a special friend we've known for over 20 years, and we wanted it to be a special occasion for her.
That's a big component of this.
Absolutely. She wanted to go to a local restaurant. Where she knew the people and she was used to going, and she had never been to this restaurant. So we wanted to treat her to something very special. So we're being shown back to the booth, we thought, and the hostess starts to seat us at a table.
Okay.
And we said, no. We specifically requested now 3 times a booth. She said, just a minute. And she left us standing in the middle of the restaurant. And there was traffic. The waiters were going back and forth, and people were trying to get through. And we felt very awkward.
And you're there with a guest. You're hosting somebody.
Absolutely.
And now all of a sudden you're abandoned in the middle of the restaurant.
And we've talked the place up and everything.
Right.
So finally, the hostess comes back, and she seats us in the proper booth. And we were very happy. And the waiter comes, and for some reason, he took our drink orders, and we were 3 non-drinkers.
Right.
That seemed to put him off. He apparently didn't like that. So we excused that, and we went about ordering our food in time. And so we got our food. It took quite a while. The kitchen was very slow. The restaurant was very crowded. And as soon as we got our food, our special guest bit into the asparagus, and it was not cooked well, and she bit into it and broke a tooth.
Oh.
Yes, she had just had $11,000 worth of dental work.
Oh no.
Yes, it was pretty bad.
Plus, I mean, on a side note, if you can mess up asparagus, really?
Right. So after the tooth incident, we realized that we never got our appetizers.
Oh.
So we called the waiter over, and he went into his little book and looked at it, and was kind of put off that we thought he had forgotten our appetizers. And he realized when he looked at his little book that we had ordered appetizers. He said, "Well, they'll be right out."
That's more money to his bill. So he wants drinks on the bill. What about the appetizers? That adds to his tip.
So he finally brought the appetizers, and so we're eating, and things are going along, and our entree comes out, and my wife bites into her lobster, and it doesn't taste right, and it's not cooked properly. And it tastes freezer burnt to her, and so on. So we call him over once more. And by the way, he wasn't very attentive. He wasn't filling our water glasses and so on.
Apparently.
Yeah. And he was again put off that we were complaining about the lobster. He said, "I'll bring you a new one out." So he goes in, and 10 minutes later, he comes back with the same lobster. And we could tell it was the same lobster because it had a bite in the same place that she had bitten from it.
Oh, my goodness.
And he, kind of throws it in front of her, and she bites into it, and it's just not any good. So she's not going to eat it at all. And so the dinner goes on, and I'm eating my French fries, which I shouldn't confess to Todd because he's as bad as my wife in regulating my food. But I'm eating my French fries, and I glance up for a minute, and they're gone. And I said to my wife, "Did you take my French fries?" And she said, "No, I didn't touch them." Well, the waiter came and I guess decided I had had enough. And he took them away, and they were like half finished.
So not attentive, but he will steal the rest of your fries when you're not finished.
Well, and when you steal my fries, you got a big problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was stealing fries from.
Yeah. So, things are going pretty poorly at this point.
Yeah.
And so we decide we're going to rescue this meal by having a nice dessert. So we order desserts. And we're waiting for our desserts. And all of a sudden, another waiter comes out of the kitchen, and he has a tray full of complimentary desserts.
Okay.
And so our guest says, if I had known...
for the event.
Yeah, it was because of her birthday, and they wished her happy birthday, put some sparkly stuff on the table. And my guest said, if I had known that I was going to get this free dessert, I wouldn't have ordered, the pie that I ordered. I said, "Oh, it's all right. It's on the house, So our desserts came, we had it, so on and so forth. So then the check comes. And the waiter almost was glad to get rid of us. We got that feeling. Mm-hmm. And my wife starts to look at the bill, and she realizes that the complimentary desserts that we got on top of our desserts that we ordered were being charged.
Oh, they weren't complimentary.
They weren't complimentary at all. And I was ready to explode at that point. And the restaurant was very busy. The manager was helping, to bust tables and everything. So she said, we don't want to ruin the evening completely, so let's just deal with this later. Mm-hmm. So we paid for the check. We gave the waiter a good tip. And as he walked away from the table, he glanced down at the bill as if to say, they better have tipped me. Yeah. And so we left. And
so not even the recognition of clearly they probably didn't tip me well because this was a bad experience.
He had to know it was a bad experience. Oh. Yeah. And my friend has her tooth cradled in a napkin. And she looks kind of funny without a tooth in the middle of her mouth. Yeah. So in any event, we get back home and we immediately write a letter complaining to the manager. And in a way, this is where it kind of went wrong.
Okay.
The manager wrote us back promptly, and his first comment was he was mortified by our experience.
Okay.
That's good.
And that was great.
Yeah.
Then there were 3 paragraphs. First telling us what a great experience everybody has at their restaurant, how they're so highly rated, how they are, all about service and so on. The second and third paragraphs making excuses for the waiter, the service, the whole experience. And the excuses were kind of, look what we're dealing with on our end. Right. I don't want to get into specifics, but the waiter was having personal issues. And
nobody eating dinner cares if your waiter just broke up with his girlfriend.
Exactly. Or what he happens to be going through in his personal life. Right. Go home if you can't do the job.
Right.
So then after the excuses, he ultimately offers us, a free dinner and so on and so forth. Never an apology from the waiter, never a representation that the waiter would be reprimanded or talked to or improve his attitude. And then the last paragraph telling us how great the restaurant is. It was a mess.
Well,
that shows me that people don't see value correctly. So that waiter, he's just, in his mind, he's just, the alcohol is a no to him.
Right.
If you don't drink alcohol, he's just saying, I don't get a big tip.
Right.
He doesn't consider the thought that someone who doesn't drink alcohol is a big tipper.
Exactly.
And so he just has a misunderstanding and a misperception, and he's ignorant of what value is. And this caused a horrible experience.
Yeah.
Misjudging that.
And the manager should have, made it right without all the excuses.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You can check us out on our website, makinitnow.com.